We're back on the Sports Zone. I am Mike Aglialoro. Once again, thanks to everyone who subscribed to the YouTube channel Mike Ags 121. Don't forget to subscribe under the video if you haven't done so, and check us out on thisissportszone.com for more. So we're back here on week 6 of Sit 'em Down. We did very well last week with a 6-2 week. We are now 22-18 through the first 5 weeks of the season. So we're going to keep going. As we are in the bye weeks, we not only look for the players who have shown week in and week out consistency, but when in doubt, you look at matchups with the ultimate difference in the end being whether or not the team is home on the road. That is generally the tiebreaker in any situation, whether or not you want to decide whether or not to start a guy, especially on FanDuel.com, where pricing is everything and you are always looking for cheaper options. At quarterback, 2 guys you want to avoid this week in that vein at 8,600 and 7,900 this week. Matt Stafford of the Detroit Lions going against the Minnesota Vikings with Megatron possibly not playing this week, and Cam Newton of the Carolina Panthers going into Cincinnati after the Bengals were embarrassed in Foxborough this week are 2 guys I believe you want to avoid. Stafford, very hit or miss this season. Newton really has not had that one big game since he came back from missing week 1. And I just think at those prices, there are better priced options for you available at this point. Whether it's Phillip Rivers, whether it's Kirk Cousins, whether it's Ben Roethlisberger, whether it's Brian Hoyer or Kyle Orton, who we talked about, and start them up. At those prices, you want to pass on them. At running back, I'm going to throw 2 players I own in my keeper league. That would be Alfred Morris and Zach Stacy of Washington and the St. Louis Rams, respectively. I like both those guys. I've resisted the urge to trade them thus far, but what you've seen out of them specifically last week has to scare you, especially with Washington going on the road to play the Arizona Cardinals and Zach Stacy at home to play the San Francisco 49ers in a Monday night game. And we've talked about Monday night games. Generally, it's just not worth the risk. Morris did nothing on Sunday. Zach Stacy got hurt last week, and Benny Cunningham came in and put up 20 fantasy points last week if you're in PPR leagues. So why would the Rams rush him back if he is anything less than 100%? And again, with Morris, that offense has just been extremely inconsistent, and the Cardinals are going to look to rebound after a terrible game against the Broncos. At wide receiver, big names you want to avoid. Like we said, Calvin Johnson will probably not play on Sunday, as will A.J. Green. I also don't like Des Bryant of my Dallas Cowboys going against the Legion of Boom in Seattle. And I really don't like Pierre Garcon this week of Washington against the aforementioned Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals, like I said, they're going to be pissed about losing to the Broncos last week in really terrible fashion. So they're going to look to rebound. The Seahawks are always dangerous in Seattle. And like we said, with Megatron, you can't risk it. The fact is, he's probably not going to play. And even if he does, he has 3 catches over the last 2 weeks. You got to pass on him until he's healthy. At tight end, the guy you want to avoid this week is Larry Donald of the New York Giants. He was the breakout star at the tight end position through the first 4 weeks, with at least double-digit points in 3 of 4 games. And then Odell Beckham Jr. came back last week, and he had 1 target the whole game with no catch, a scoreless stat line. He will probably put up some points this week. The Giants will look to get him involved. But with Beckham on the field and Eli finally clicking with both Victor Cruz and Ruben Randle, Donald is going to be the odd man out with those 3 wide receivers taking on the bulk of the targets during the game. So, once again, the guys you want to avoid this week at quarterback, you want to stay away from Matt Stafford of the Lions and Cam Newton of the Panthers. You want to stay away from Alfred Morris of Washington and Zach Stacy of the Rams. At wide receiver, you want to avoid Megatron Calvin Johnson, Des Bryant of the Cowboys, and Pierre Garcon of Washington. And at tight end, you don't want Larry Donald this week. Once again, thanks to everyone who subscribed to the YouTube channel Mike Ags 121. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at WeAreSportsZone. Send us any questions and comments you may have. Thanks to everyone for watching. Once again, for This is SportsZone, I am Mike Aglialoro. We will see you next time, folks.